Welcome to World Chefs podcast. I'm your host, Ragnar, and this is World on a Plate. Technology in kitchens is nothing new. We use it. It helps to improve efficiency in kitchens, improve staff conditions, better meet customer expectations, enhance customer expectations. So many ways, and just imagine, the first convection oven or the electric dishwasher. What a radical change! But though lately technology has transformed our lives so rapidly, and especially in terms of access to information, if you were born before 2000, smartphones have not even been invented. So you will be dialing internet through this peeping tone to get a connection. And nowadays there are so many tools out there on all sort of creative ways of an efficient solution. So these are solutions for tomorrow's chefs. And we at World Chefs, we take pride in bringing the latest from inside and outside the kitchen to you, our listener. And so today, with a great pleasure, I want to present you with Gastronomixs. And listen carefully. So I have with me the co-founder, Inge Meijs. She's going to tell us more about what Gastronomixs is and how that can help you in the kitchen, chef. So welcome on the show, Inge.
Thank you, Ragnar, and thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
It was a great pleasure, actually, because I've been following what you've been doing for a few years. You started quite early, and we met quite a few years back, and then I see it's developed really well, and such an amazing idea. So and people are still wondering, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I can imagine.
So maybe can you tell us in your own words? So what is Gastronomixs? Where did the idea come from?
Yeah, well, good question. Gastronomixs is an online recipe database for chefs, for professional chefs. And we're different from, other recipe websites. And the unique thing about Gastronomixs is that we offer recipes in the form of building blocks. So as a chef, you work at a party and you create all kinds of, beautiful preparations. And we found a way with Gastronomixs to present all those preparations in a modular way on a platform for you to, go through and get inspiration from. So to make it more tangible, let's say tomato or potato or salmon or any other ingredients you can think of. You can find that ingredient on Gastronomixs, and we will offer you sometimes hundreds of preparations with that ingredient. And it really goes from, a classic baked potato or a classic mousseline to the more modern preparations, such as fermented potato or a potato paper, for instance. So as a chef, you can be inspired at any time on the platform and use all those tried and tested recipes that we offer. And you asked me how it started, how we started Gastronomixs. Actually, it's already almost 12 years ago that my former business partner, Jeroen, who's a chef himself, he thought there was, a gap in the inspiration for chefs. Everything that chefs had were cookbooks with recipes of complete dishes. But most chefs think more in those preparations, like I'm searching for something with tomato, or I'm searching for a specific structure to complete my dish. So back then we started making this book with recipes, which whenever a chef saw that book, which we made a dummy of, they were so enthusiastic, and we knew something was there and we had to do something with it. So eventually it became an online platform.
Right. So basically, it's not just recipes. You can sort of almost create your own. The platform will take into consideration sort of what you are looking for, basic ingredient, or it could even be a basic season. Can you do a lot of matching different searches and keywords to get to if you want to do more traditional food or ethnic of some sort, or seasonal?
Absolutely.
How does it work if I have my platform here? So what are we be doing for Christmas now?
Yeah, good one. Yeah. Well, chefs, of course, they have a starting point when creating a dish or when searching for a certain preparation. So we often see that, of course, an ingredient is a good starting point. You want to do something with, I don't know, basil, and you are searching for basil on the platform. Sometimes you're not sure yet, so you want to do something with fruit for your dessert. Well, then you go to the platform and you see, for instance, fruit as a product category, and then we trickle that down into, for instance, tropical fruit or stone fruit or soft fruit. So then you sort of, yes, you're just browse around and see what we offer. Another starting point could be a technique. You want something that is barbecued, for instance, or you want something that is fermented, or you want to do something with sous vide cooking. And that's also a way to start your search on the platform. Another thing are textures or appearances. So maybe you want something crispy or you want something creamy. You can also start there. And as you mentioned, world flavors, like I want to do something with the Korean influences, or I want something to do typical French cooking. That's also a very interesting starting point, of course. And specifically for our Dutch, Belgium, UK, and Irish users, we also have a seasonal calendar in place. So maybe a few months back, late summer, you were thinking about your Christmas menu. You could also filter on, well, the month of December and see what's in season then. So yeah, that are a few typical starting points that we know chefs are, well, often looking for inspiration. And maybe also the last one is, of course, a flavor combination. So I want to do something with tomato and basil, for instance, or I don't know, citrus fruit and chocolate. And well, that's also available on the platform.
Right. And so all the recipes so you do these searches according to like what you have in mind, and so so all the recipes are sort of, they have been tried and tested. So you just sort of get a selection of potential recipes with like you said, with basil,
Yeah.
and then you just browse through those. How many recipes do you have really in the database?
Right now we have 5,600 in English, if I'm or in Dutch, if I'm correct, and we're still translating a lot into English. We hope to finish that next week. So about 4,400 in English right now of those components. So you can imagine that you've got so many possibilities in combining all those components. And as you can see behind me on the image that I have here, we have our own test kitchen. And we also have a chef working for us who has a wonderful CV with a lot of experience throughout Europe and also in South Africa. And he is testing all the recipes in that kitchen. And we also make photos of every recipe and videos for on social media as well. So yeah, that's the big benefit of Gastronomixs, that all the recipes on there are tried and tested and specially written for chefs. So it are in the amounts of the professional kitchen, and it's yeah, well, it's the jargon as well to explain the cooking methods and such. Yeah.
So as a user, then I can have my own bank of recipes that I've picked out. Can I create my own recipes, or is the system like how?
Yeah, right now, well, we offer those thousands of components. A few months ago, we launched a feature which is really amazing, I think, that you can use a Gastronomixs component, but adjust it into your own variant. So, for instance, we offer you a strawberry mousse. And you as a chef think, well, you use, I don't know, 100 grams of sugar. I think it needs less. It only needs 50 grams of sugar. You can simply adjust the recipe and save it as your own component. And something that we are going to introduce next year, so that's a little spoiler, is that you can upload your own recipes yourself. And that would give you, of course, a lot of creative freedom, considering combining your own recipe database together with the database that Gastronomix offers and is continuously expanding.
Yeah, so it's not really like some would say like, oh, so the chefs no longer have to be creative; they can just like go and find recipes. So it's not really that, but it's more is to help the creative process.
Absolutely, yeah. Gastronomics is here to empower chefs to create and to stimulate that creative fire that is burning in every chef. But yeah, every great artist and every creative person, every chef from time to time needs that little creative spark or that little bit of inspiration. And of course, you can find it anywhere. You can find it in nature. You can find it on a holiday. Well, sometimes reading a book or seeing something on the television. But yeah, to give that spot on creativity, that is what Gastronomics does. And I think if you have to sort of split it, we see two ways of Gastronomics being used by chefs. So on one hand, we see chefs that are really browsing for inspiration and sitting down with a cup of tea and working on their new menu and seeing which things that gastronomics has to offer, and also which new trends and new techniques are there because we are on top of those. And the other way is you stand in the kitchen and you need to make that specific recipe, and you just lost, I don't know, the amounts of the recipes or you just want to check if you have the cooking method right. Well, you go on Gastronomics, often on your mobile phone because that's in your pocket, of course, and you search for the recipe and you read through it and you're like, aha, yeah, that was the way I should make it. And it's a sort of check, and this 24/7 available partner or sous chef, if you'd like, that you can always ask questions and find information on.
Yeah, yeah. So you never lose your notes here. Your notes are always with you in your pocket, like you say. So
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. And of course, it's lovely to have a brainstorm with your colleague or another chef. But it's also handy that you have something with you at every time.
yeah. And hey, so I mean, there's a lot of talk lately about artificial intelligence, and
Hmm.
I don't know if you are already looking into that, or if you see that as like a, do you see that as a complementary thing to your platform and to the chefs, or is that more of a danger zone or a threat to you? What is what are you guys
Yeah,
thinking? Yeah.
AI, of course, is booming, and sometimes I think it's almost a little bit scary how fast the developments are going at the moment. Right now, we use AI in the office. So my colleagues use it to write texts or to think of new ideas, and well, it's really beneficial. And of course, we are looking into ways of implementing AI technology into gastronomics to enhance what we are doing. I don't think it's a threat, and that's specifically because, well, like I mentioned, we have a chef working for us. All our recipes are tried and tested, so you are guaranteed that the quality of the recipes is good. And those are two really specific things that AI can't replace. You would have to have that human factor in it to yeah, really stand out. So I'm sure gastronomics will benefit from AI in the future, but I'm also convinced that we are not threatened by it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, because well, I don't know if like you have any sort of people that come with what questions concerning the system, whether like you're all going to end up with the same recipes, or like is the creativity out the window, or
Yeah, I can imagine that, and it's a question that I hear more often, especially when people haven't seen the platform yet, how it works. And it's a good question, I think, and I always like to compare gastronomics with Lego, the building blocks. If you have two kids in front of you and you give both kids a box of 100 Lego bricks, and you don't give them any assignment, or maybe you do give them an assignment. You say, okay, let's build a house. both kids will build a completely different house. I can guarantee you that. But they still have the same building blocks. They still use Lego. They still use the same material. And I think you can sort of compare that to gastronomics. Yes, you have the same thousands of recipes, which is, of course, already an enormous amount. So a lot of variety there. But then again, if I would ask you to create, for instance, a dessert with banana and chocolate, I'm 100% sure you will pick different components than I would do if I have the same assignment. So
Right.
yes, there's so much difference between the components, and also the style of the chef, of course, and the type of guests that you have in your restaurant, and the type of restaurant that you run. That you would still be able to adjust it to your own likings and your own cooking style, because that is absolutely the most important part, that gastronomics really empowers chefs to create, and is not taking over completely. You still have to be thinking about what you want as a chef yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, funny enough, so before this call, I asked ChatGPT whether whether they will replace the chefs in recipe making. Well, very smartly they said no. You cannot. We can generate recipe based on various inputs and preference, but hey, it's the chef, his own creativity, intuition, his experience, his craft, and his memories and
Absolutely.
everything. So that's a very smart answer from ChatGPT. So I turned the question around, like, can you help me replace the chef with the recipe making? and again, so no. I got the same answer actually. So
Yeah, that's great, and I think it's true, because at the end of the day, being a chef is obviously a beautiful craft, and people will always keep on eating and want to have a great experience, restaurant experiences. So it's way more than just a recipe, and yeah, the atmosphere in a restaurant, the atmosphere in the kitchen, and the finishing touch, and the experience of a chef is so important. And it also makes me think about what we see in our user database, because we have over 35,000 users at the moment. And we see a difference between young chefs and the more established chefs that, for instance, have more than 10 years of experience. The young chefs, they are really eager to learn new things, and to broaden their knowledge, and they still have so much to learn and so much experience to gain. And gastronomics fits right into that desire. But on the other hand, we also have chefs with years of experience, and those chefs actually tell us, like, yeah, I've been cooking for over 10 years, and to be honest, sometimes I do the same thing over and over again, and I fall back to dishes or preparations that I have been doing for my whole career, and I want to do something different and spice it up a little bit, and yeah, to keep your knowledge going and to keep learning. Yeah, gastronomics is also there for you.
Yeah, I mean, do you have? I mean, how many users do you have as today?
35,000 at the moment. Yeah.
The chefs are using your platform, and so you have any sort of specific feedback or anything that that you picked up on, like that surprised you in the way they use the system, or?
Yeah, well, Gastronomics has been online for almost 12 years, and one of the things that we are extremely proud of, but also working on a daily basis, is our customer service. So we speak chefs on a daily basis. We know what they think, we know what their challenges are, and we gather feedback continuously. So yeah, we ask them questions all the time, and one of the things that I always find one of the funniest stories is that in the Netherlands, because we're based in the Netherlands, there are right now 1,400 students working with gastronomics, also in their lessons and during their education, their culinary education. And one of the students a few years back, he sent us a message after his exams, and he mentioned like, okay, Gastronomixs is truly the platform and the thing that got me through my exams. And my exam was better because of Gastronomixs. And yeah, that makes you proud, definitely, if you can achieve and if you can help the chef or the student chef in this case with his work. That is what we are here for.
Yeah, so basically, it can be like a competitive advantage to for the chef to as you
Yeah.
said, to reinvent himself and be sort of a step ahead of the trends as well, and understanding
Yeah,
what is happening in the market. And
certainly. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we do trend watching, of course, all over the world, and specifically what is interesting for chefs nowadays. We pick those trends. For instance, vegan cooking and plant-based cooking has been a trend, of course, for the last few years.
yeah,
And you have a lot of information about that for consumers, but we specifically look at those trends and see, okay, how can we translate this back into the professional kitchen, because that is slightly different from home cooking, of course. So yeah, we then go think of, okay, how do we make a red wine sauce completely plant-based? How do we make a demi-glace completely plant-based? Or a cheese sauce, can we make that completely plant-based? Because those are preparations that, yeah, as a chef, you want to incorporate into your menus to give the plant-based diners the same kind of experience as, well, the other diners have.
that's really a good point. That's amazing. Yeah, and so it's really yeah, helping the chefs stay up to date and follow consumer trends. And hey,
Yeah.
you said something earlier, because we are here on a podcast and people are like they are sort of trying to understand what we're talking about, and they've never.
Mhm.
You said you don't really know until you've seen it.
Yeah,
So
I mentioned that.
so we have a great news for our listeners and all our members, is that in our partnership we're gonna give 4 weeks free access to all World Chefs members. And so what
Yes,
we'll do is that on this podcast we'll create a link with a special code, and we'll send this out to our membership. So all you need to do is log into your World Chefs account. You collect that code. And so from when you plug that code in, you open your account at Gastronomixs. You have 4 weeks to explore and really check out the system and all it has to offer. And also, I think it would be a great idea for the schools. As you might know, we have a network of 150 culinary schools around the world,
yeah,
and it could be really interesting to those who are listening, who like to share this code with their students.
absolutely.
Students are not listening, then share this code with their students. As I said, all they need to do is log into their World Chef account. They can create their World Chef account if they don't have. It's free of charge. Create your World Chef account, get the code, and get everybody started to use the system.
Absolutely. I would love to welcome all the listeners, and also share the code with your colleagues if you'd like. And yeah, come on board and give Gastronomixs a proper test drive for 4 weeks. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can also reach out to us via chat button on the Gastronomixs homepage. Happy to help chefs get on board.
Yeah, excellent. So we'll inform everybody about that. And so hey, but I had another question. So how do you actually increase the database of recipes, or do you get input from the chefs, or like how do you still grow it? I mean, what's the
Yeah.
growth of recipes? Is it constant and
Well, of course, well, I mentioned we have our own test kitchen chef who tries and tests all the recipes that are on the platform. But of course, he needs, well, input as well.
yeah.
We have a really cool and passionate team that follows all the food trends. And of course, we have this list of ideas for him to try and test. But one of the main things that we also do is that we collaborate with, well, the best chefs out there. The last few months, we had the honor to welcome a few guest chefs. So, for instance, Tom Booton from London, from the Dorchester, the famous hotel. He has shared 30 recipes with us. So you really get a peek into his kitchen and into his cooking style. And recently, we had the honor to have Ayo Adeyemi as our guest chef, also from London. He has an African cooking style and, well, the most amazing flavors. I've had the pleasure to eat there and also to, of course, taste all the recipes when we cook them in our test kitchen for the photo shoot. Really, really mind-blowing recipes. And well, in the past, we also worked together with Chef Jonny Boer, 3 Michelin stars from the Netherlands. And he has shared he's still sharing 100 components with us. So if you want to learn a little bit more about, the kitchen of the Libraille, there are 100 recipes from Jonny Boer on Gastronomixs. And yeah, I can go on and name even more chefs, also from Belgium, from Spain, from, well, anywhere actually. Also restaurant Locavore in Bali. Ilke and Ray, the guest chefs from earlier this year, are also sharing 30 recipes with us, with an Indonesian twist, of course. So yeah, we are really fortunate to work with those fantastic chefs from all over the world. And of course, that is also a way for us to bring eating cultures closer together as well, because there's still so much to learn from different cultures and different cuisines.
Right. So you are constantly looking for partners to bring in more recipes from different cultures. So people connect with you as well if they want to contribute. Or do you have a lot?
Yeah, sometimes we also sometimes we have chefs that send us recipes as well. And then we obviously we have a look at if the recipe is still unique, if it's not on the website yet. And then if we think it's good enough and it's desired by the rest of our users, we'll try and test it in our kitchen and upload it. Yeah. For instance, we had a chef from Italy once that sent us a message like, okay, the pasta recipes, a few pasta recipes on the platform, they're good, but they're not brilliant. I would have some advice to improve them. And we're always open to that because we can always keep learning from each other. So we adjusted those recipes, and there was another chef, also Italian, but based in the Netherlands. And he mentioned like, okay, your tiramisu recipe is great, but I have the best tiramisu recipe. And then we're sort of challenged like, okay, give us the recipe, we're going to test it. And if we agree, we're going to replace it. And we did. So yeah.
Cool. So it can actually also become sort of a collaborative space for sharing.
Definitely.
How many recipes would you approve in a month? Like you add every month, you add a number of recipes on the platform?
Yeah, we add new recipes actually on a weekly basis, sometimes even more frequent. So often on Monday and Wednesday, for instance, we send out a newsletter with all the new recipes from that moment. I think now on a monthly basis, well, last year we added 440 new components to the platform. So yeah, that's one or two every day. And also there's also a section on the website with dishes, because of course chefs they still would love to be inspired by the flavor combinations and the plating that a dish gives. So last year we added 49, I think, or 46 new dishes as well. So yeah, it's almost on a weekly basis we add a new dish as well.
Right, because you use the term like you add components. You don't use the term recipe. So really, you're thinking always products is what you're thinking.
So the ingredient, the product, for instance, the strawberry, and we take that ingredient and there we make components of. So that could be a strawberry mousse or a strawberry shake or a strawberry sauce. or dried strawberry, for instance, and all those preparations we call component recipes. Yeah.
Right. And even like I think I saw also on your website, like you give advice of like strawberry typically goes well with mint, or you could be basil goes with. So like this is what you can try and test is like around the strawberry, vanilla could go there, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, we also give flavor combinations as well. And
it allows the creativity for the chef, right? So
absolutely. Yeah. And also what we offer is, well, a pretty extensive product knowledge. So we have all kinds of ingredients that we dove into and did proper research on. And we explain, well, how the ingredient grows, which product group it belongs to, how you can perfectly store it, flavor combinations, like you mentioned. So yeah, that is typically information that a lot of students use, or chefs if they, well, have a question about an ingredient and want a trustworthy source for knowledge.
Yeah, no, I think the absolutely best way for the chefs to really get a full picture of what you are talking about here is to open their the free account.
Yeah.
With opening their free account, they can experience by themselves. So so as I said earlier, we'll put out the code there. They can put that special code, the World Chef code, to get a 4 weeks free access to the system and just have fun with it. Play.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just browse through and create your own dishes and find components that suit your cooking style. And yeah, there's so much to explore that I think you'll have a good time for 4 weeks. And also starting the new year with an impulse of creativity is always good, right?
Yeah. And then after that, the pricing, what is the pricing like after that? Is it monthly or annual or?
Yeah, we have a monthly and annual subscription at the moment, and starting from the 3rd of January, the prices will be €9.90 a month, or €99 a year. So a yearly subscription is slightly cheaper on an annual basis. But yeah, I think that is the option.
Very affordable, cheaper than Netflix. So there you have it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Excellent, Inge. Hey, so it was great talking to you, and so congratulations with your great product, because it's really helpful to the chefs. It's really thoughtful.
Thank you.
And so I'm very proud to announce this partnership of ours. And as I said, we strive to bring out the latest to our chefs, and I hope they will enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Playing with your system, and hopefully they will find a good companion for the rest of their career to become the future, to be
exactly
to always stay relevant and be future proof.
Exactly.
Very important. So
and in the end, creativity is having fun, right? So yeah, the platform is great fun and stimulating your creative fire.
Excellent. Inge, thank you for joining our podcast.
Well, thank you for having me. It was a great pleasure.
Likewise. So thank you all for listening, and follow our podcast. Go and sign up to your World Chef account right now. It's free of charge if you haven't already. And so with this podcast, we'll send you a link to collect your free access to Gastronomixs that you can use for 4 weeks free of charge. And after that, you can stay, you can leave. No attached there, but hopefully you will see that it'll be an eye-opener for you, and it'll be a good companion for you in your future creativities. So thank you, chefs. Everybody stay safe, and thank you. This is World Chef's podcast. So hope you like the show. Sign up, give us a little star note if you like the show, and in the meantime, stay safe, stay well. Goodbye, everybody.